so we're going right to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're skipping high school. I'm Paula. I was Diana's roommate in college, and when Dave asked me to speak about her college years, now I'm kind of on the hook because you already read about our college years, and now I got to make sure our stories match, and I'm not sure. So I had to remind Dave that I actually only knew Diana my senior year, which was her super senior year because, as she wrote, she took a year off, and so it's kind of a miracle that we even met in the first place because she should have already graduated. But to help me fill in some of the gaps, I went back to some of our old yearbooks. I came to the page with her junior class photo. And, you know, Diana looked beautiful. She had a really nice outfit on, just like all of her classmates. Her hair was curled, her long hair was curled, and she had that little smile, that sweet Diana smile, and her head was cocked just so. And then I saw it. It was up on her head, one of those big straw Chinese hats. Diana loved hats. And I just burst out laughing. And I thought that photo captured the very essence of who Diana was. If there was a social norm, she was going to challenge it. If there was a boundary, she was going to push it. If there was a price on something, she was going to haggle about it. If there was a fence, she was going to climb it. Or if there was a rule that she thought was just plain stupid, she was going to find out who made it and why. And if they couldn't explain it to her satisfaction, well, she may or may not break it. And I have to admit that we were partners in crime more than once. Diana was insatiably curious, and she was always seeking a new adventure. And in fact, that's what brought her to Greenville in the first place. She wanted to meet some new people in a new place with a new opportunity. And her curiosity made her the perfect student, and later the perfect homeschool mom. Whether she was in her beloved biology classes and her religion courses, or in the art room, she was constantly wanting to know more and more and more and more. She was never satisfied. As many of you can attest, Diana never really outgrew that one childhood stage, and you all know what that is. It's the why stage. But why, she would say, but why? And she would constantly ask question after question after question and wanting to know why. And most of her professors loved her for that. There were a few, not so much. Diana had a way of digging deeper, of challenging the status quo and the unquestioned truths that not everybody was comfortable with. But her curiosity and sense of adventure took her into her activities and her friendships as well. As you know, and as she said, she loved to run. She joined the track team. And in the photo that I found of her on the track team, she was arm in arm with Susie Houston. And that was her new and her enduring friend. And Susie is the one who introduced her to the long-distance cycling. And later, Susie became a quadriplegic due to an accident. And the care that Diana gave to her during all of those years mirrored exactly the care that many of you gave to her when she needed it. So she was an example. Diana, as she said, was also a photographer, and she became the associate editor of the Greenville College yearbook. Like me, many of you were the victims of that very annoying thing that Diana did. She could make you do just about anything, right? And some of the things that she did to me, she's milkweed. I heard it was edible. Okay. Or she convinced me to take care of her psycho parrot that she had rescued. Believe me, that was a journey. Or we went to a bluegrass festival one day with some friends, and somehow she convinced me to get up and square dance in the middle of the field when everybody else was sitting nicely and politely watching the festival, not us. But I realized that that's exactly what drew me to Diana. She put herself out there. She took risks. And she was always trusting and thinking the best of other people, even when she got hurt sometimes. She would rather live that way than play it safe. And so she helped me get out of my comfort zone. She pushed me. And she taught me to ask, but why, as well as, why not? And that is eventually how she convinced me to be the associate editor of the yearbook my senior year. Even when I protested. And I had no idea that that decision, that experience would lead to my first teaching job, which would take me and my husband to the Midwest, which would set the course for the rest of my married life. Knowing some Spanish, at least this was in the yearbook, so I can't attest to its truth or not, but she was in the Spanish house one year at Greenville College. And it was actually through mutual friends that we knew in the Spanish house that we met and that we became roommates. And it was during that time that through Diana, I met my husband. And so thanks to the Lord's perfect timing of putting Diana in my life, I now have a wonderful spouse and 3 incredible children. During that time, I also gained a lifetime friend and a kindred spirit, that we could share those unmentionable thoughts and feelings with each other. You know the ones that you're even afraid to admit that you have yourself. I could share those with her. She gave me so many other things as well, a love for the unborn that has led to many years of volunteer service, and in the next few months, I think a job in service for the unborn. I haven't told my boss that yet, so please don't spread the word. She also gave me an open heart and a home for international students. We've had many in our home as well. And coming from an international background, that wasn't much of a stretch for me, but she gave me the courage to just do it. Most of all, because hers was so strong and so real, Diana showed me how to push the boundaries of my faith. It just never entered Diana's thinking that God wasn't just as big and generous and forgiving and powerful and loving as he said he was. Didn't occur to her. And she never entertained the thought that he wasn't worth believing or loving or sharing with every fiber of her being. Ultimately, Diana's decision to go to Greenville College changed my life, quite literally. And all of you sitting here are a testimony to the incredible impact that she had on your lives as well. My hope is to honor her legacy by staying really curious, getting out of my comfort zone, being adventurous, and challenging the status quo. You know, maybe getting a bargain price once in a while. Most of all, I want to honor her by having a faith and loving God and loving other people, even a fraction of the way that she did. She would be so happy today, knowing that we are glorifying the Lord with her and exalting his name together.
Vangie? Gunn. Mrs. Gunn?